Representative Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey joins us now. Representative, thank you for being here. We've been waiting to talk to you. So along with being a congressman, you're also a member of the Transportation Committee and the Aviation Subcommittee, and you said you had it on good authority that there was an Iranian mothership that launched these drones. And as you know, the Pentagon, well, they've dismissed that. So do you still stand behind that theory?
Here's the deal. An individual with top security clearance, in fact, multiple individuals, multiple sources came to me and said they were very concerned. This is all factual, what I'm telling you now. About a month ago, weeks ago, an Iranian ship, which is a drone ship, which is also correctly called in the vernacular, in the terminology, a mothership. Nobody's saying it's UFOs or anything like that, but that is the term. And the reason that term is there is because drones are able to take off and to land and to be hidden on that ship. It is similar to what an aircraft carrier would be. Iran has 3 of them. The technology comes from China. They have purchased equipment and technology from China and continue to work with that. China is a full 10 years ahead of us in this industry, in the drone technology. That is all absolutely true. The individuals with whom we're dealing are people with gravitas. They are serious players. They're seriously involved. And they have serious concerns that the United States of America's government is not paying enough attention to this. And that's why they came to me. So, you know, I had 2 choices, either to hold that in and not say anything, and God forbid anything happened because I did that, or to let that information out. And I am glad I did, because what it did is break it all open. So the government had to in some way respond, and they have not responded adequately. Real quickly, let me just say this. There's only a certain number of options here. All these sightings, according to the government, are just planes or hobbyists who have drones. Now, many of them are. Some of them are inaccurate. Some people are looking at stars. Some people are looking at planes. Some people are looking at the drones that routinely fly around, but not all of them. We've had reports from the Coast Guard in person. I have a nuclear plant in my district. A nuclear plant for the state of New Jersey supplies over 40% of the energy. They saw them. These are real professionals. There were 2 of them the size of suburban automobiles, of SUVs that were flying in the periphery of the plant, and they asked now to be a no-fly zone. Here's real people with real sightings.
Here's the thing. People hear you saying this, and you attribute that to a source, but wouldn't people in the White House and John Kirby, National Security, wouldn't they have access to these same sources? And how is there such a disconnect? Because this is a huge disconnect.
Here's the deal. Again, they are either inept and stupid, or they are covering up and not telling the truth. It's one or the other. I don't know which one. They swear it's not our own government. Therefore, what does that leave? But there's something more here. I'm not a conspiracy guy. This is real, and they need to deal with it. And I'm not saying people should be afraid, but our government is dealing with it horribly and disrespectfully to our American people.
But people are afraid. And that's why it's all over the news. And that's why we're talking about it now. Because number 1, we don't know what it is. Number 2, people are worried. And what possibly would the government be covering up?
Well, that's the point. Well, that's why they may just be inept. If they are trying different, experiments with that, using prototypes, trying to protect our country by going forward with drone technology, which we are a full decade behind, as I said before, they don't have to tell the American people every secret and every detail. They simply need to say, hey, we're running some exercises. We're going through some programs with drones, with UAS technology is what they're called. That's fine. And then people would be fine. They would accept that. Even if it's someone else, if it's a foreign country, then let us know what they're doing and why they're doing it. It just isn't only home hobbyists and planes. That's part of it is misidentification, but not all of it. There's real stuff out there, and they're not dealing, and they're disrespecting America when they do that. And you know what? Americans are concerned. You know why? Because there are many instances now in the past when we've dealt with this administration where they haven't told the American people the truth. I'll tell you right now, the spy balloon that traversed across our country, a wide swath of the United States of America, they said, no, it was nothing to worry about, no big deal, nothing to see there. Finally, they had to say, yeah, it was a Chinese spy balloon, and only took it down after it had traversed all this area of the country, received information, transmitted that information, then they finally took it down.
Real quick, I got to ask you.
Leads. America's strong.
Amen. Should these things be shot down?
In a safe way, over the water, or in an area that's rural, that if they come down or whatever they have on them, because they don't know what they have on them, they don't know what they're transmitting, they don't know where they're going, where they're coming from, who they're from, they know nothing. So we do have to be careful, but yes, they should be taken down in a safe way so we can analyze the real ones, these big ones that are of large size. Coast Guard in our area, according to my friend, Congressman Chris Smith, reported that they had up to 30 of them following them, only about 100 feet away. When the Coast Guard ship would turn, they would turn. When the Coast Guard ship would stop, they would stop. This is all real stuff, and the government's trying to squelch it, but the government should be responsive to the people, and certainly to Congress, for God's sake.
Well, that's why we continue to ask questions the way we have been. And Representative Jeff Van Drew, we ask you to keep us up to date, because the American people are talking about this story. They are concerned, they are worried, and frankly, they don't know who to believe. And we ask that you will join us again to continue this conversation. Representative, thank you for being here.
We will, and I will tell you one thing. I will always tell you the truth, exactly as I hear it.
Thank you, sir.
Coming up.